£1,000. The family of sisters is upset over Adam Hunter's recent choice. The £1,000 Adam Hunter from the TLC reality program Sisters has made a significant choice. He no longer desires a relationship with Tammy or Amy. Adam has also declared his intention to depart from the show. Adam made a decision that stunned the entire family. Everyone made an effort to persuade Adam not to do this. Don't abandon us. However, Adam's response was unambiguous. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to make my own life decisions. His obstinacy and unyielding demeanor have caused tension within the family. Everyone is concerned. The equilibrium of the entire family as well as the relationship may be upset by this separation. Whether Adam will actually leave the show or stay and fall in love with his family is still up in the air. We won't know until later. Despite the intense summer heat in Kentucky, there was another factor contributing to the growing tension in the Slaton home. The delicate peace the family had established had been upended by Adam Hunter's choice. Adam had always been more than simply a partner. He had once served as a calming influence between Amy and Tammy Slaton. He served as the unseen glue that kept a family together despite their ongoing mental turmoil, weight difficulties, and the strain of living under the scrutiny of reality TV. Adam, however, had now made it apparent. I'm done, he stated impassively as the cameras filmed during what was meant to be a fun family barbecue. I will not remain with Amy. I'm not going to stay with Tammy. I'm leaving the show altogether. Amy let go of the spatula she was holding. Tammy gaped at him in shock. Amy stepped forward and asked, "What are you talking about? You care for us both. Family, you've always said, is everything." Adam gave a headshake. Having family does not equate to abandoning oneself. I've done everything in my power. I've been there for you as a friend, supporter, and mediator. However, I no longer know who I am. The producers looked at each other anxiously behind the cameras. This actually happened. Too authentic. There was no script that could reverse the situation. The remainder of the family gathered inside the house. Amanda walked around the living area. Unaware of the impending storm, Gage and Glenn played on the floor. He's simply exhausted, Misty remarked. He has experienced a great deal. Chris, however, wasn't so understanding. You don't simply leave, whether you're exhausted or not. Not when you're loved. Adam sat by himself on the back porch later that night and gazed into the shadowy woods. With her expression softer than normal, Tammy joined him. Her words, "You're scared, however, we are all." That's what family life is all about. When things are difficult, we stay. We hunch over. Adam let out a sigh. I'm sick of being tugged in many directions, and I don't mean to offend anyone. I made an effort to assist, but I can't keep putting my peace at risk. A hand was placed on his shoulder by Tammy. Then cease making sacrifices. Get sharing. For once, let us help you. Amy put a message on Adam's bed the following morning. If you still have love in your heart, let us prove that you're not alone, but you don't have to stay for us. You weren't. Adam kept that note with him while he gathered his belongings. However, he stopped as he was about to get his suitcase. The family sat together downstairs, waiting rather than acting or filming. But months had passed since Tammy Slaton began a long-distance relationship with Jason, her new boyfriend, whom she had met online. Jason was from Las Vegas, a sweet tattoo artist who is open-minded and has a lovely grin. In contrast to others, he never assessed Tammy based on her weight or her past. Through private jokes, late-night video conversations, and shared dreams, they developed a strong emotional bond that restored Tammy's sense of love. Tammy's obsession at the moment was going to see Jason in person. Amy, I'm heading to Vegas. Sitting on the couch with her sister, Tammy said, I don't care what anyone says, her eyes blazing with resolve. While tending to infant Glenn, Amy glanced at her sister with a mixture of amusement and concern. Vegas isn't a quick journey, but you know I adore you, girl. That is significant. Are you certain you're prepared for that? Tammy let out a sigh. I've made great progress. I've shed some pounds. I've grown more self-reliant. Last week, I even entered Walmart without my chair. Amy nodded with admiration. That was enormous, indeed. However, Vegas is like walking, heat, hotels, and airplanes. What if Jason isn't who he claims to be? After a brief moment of hesitation, Tammy took out her phone. Every day, I video chatted with him. He is genuine. He is kind. He added that he would even charter a special mobility van to come get me at the airport. Amy regarded her with suspicion. I promise that I will call Nevada if this becomes a catfishing incident. The tension was relieved as they both laughed. Tammy put in a lot of effort with her physical therapist during the ensuing weeks. She concentrated on increasing her walking distance and developing her ability to maneuver in confined areas, such as restrooms on airplanes. With Amy's assistance, she also began organizing the trip, looking up flights, contacting the airline to inquire about lodging, and even purchasing new clothing for Vegas. The trip day arrived sooner than anticipated. Although anxious, Tammy's family was encouraging. Chris even stopped by to bid her farewell. "Don't gamble all your money on blackjack," he quipped. "And don't get married by Elvis unless you're sure." The arid desert air struck Tammy like a hot oven as soon as she touched down in Las Vegas. Nervous and eager, she rolled out in her wheelchair. Jason was there, holding a bunch of roses outside baggage claim. His height, gentle brown eyes, and infectious smile made him even more attractive in person. He yelled out, "Tammy," and spread his arms. They gave each other a lengthy, sincere hug. Tammy had the impression that she was in a romance film for the first time in years. They were surrounded by the bustling energy of the city as they drove past the Vegas Strip, with lights flashing and music blaring. Amazing shows, casinos, dinners, and cuddles filled the first 2 days. However, reality set in by the third day. Tammy found it difficult to follow the walking. Her energy was depleted by the heat. Jason made an effort to assist, but she was ashamed. One night, teary-eyed, Tammy said, "I thought I was ready. But this city, it's too much." Jason was kneeling next to her. "You're present. You arrived. To me, that is everything." He placed an order for room service that evening, flipped on her favorite film, and sat next to her on the bed while holding her hand. A week later, Amy gave Tammy a strong hug when she got home. "So, was it worth it?" Tammy grinned. "Of course. I discovered love and my next objective. In order to walk past that strip like a queen the following time, I'm going to keep improving myself." Amy chuckled. "That's my sister." Tammy became even more driven after that, not only for Jason but also for herself. Since the first, she felt she deserved to be happy for the first time in a long time. Nonetheless, Dixon, Kentucky, had seen a few peaceful months. She had taken a break from the spotlight following the media frenzy surrounding Tammy Slaton's marriage and its shocking breakdown. With the help of her sister Amy, Tammy was attempting to start over at home while concentrating on her health. However, nobody anticipated what would happen next. Tammy shared a mysterious TikTok video one day in the early spring. It included a mysterious male voice in the background and her grinning with a heart emoji. The fans got into a frenzy right away. Who is he? Tammy's attractive new partner? Amy is about to lose her mind. The man was Philip, a truck driver from Nashville, Tennessee, who was 38 years old. They connected on Facebook via a common acquaintance. And following weeks of video conversations and late-night phone calls, Philip traveled to Kentucky to finally meet Tammy. He was tall, had a southern draw, gentle blue eyes, and a long beard. Amy was particularly drawn to Philip since he appeared to be normal. Amy, who has always been the protective sibling, first had doubts. "You just left a horrible marriage, Tammy, gal. Are you certain you want to go right back into this?" Tammy gave an eye roll. "I'm not stupid, Amy. Philip is different from the rest. He pays attention. Don't judge me," he says. Additionally, he has 4 years of sobriety. Amy wasn't persuaded, though. She made the decision to have supper with Philip. Naturally, with the cameras in motion. The evening got off to a good start. Philip praised Amy's food, brought flowers for both sisters, and even assisted Amy's son Gage in solving a puzzle. However, Amy brought up the elephant in the room midway through the meal. "So, Philip," she replied bluntly as usual, "are you here for attention or because you like Tammy?" Philip didn't recoil. "To be honest, I was unaware that you folks had a television program until Tammy informed me. I like her because she's real." She has experienced some difficult things, to be sure, but I see the fighter in her. For that, I would like to be present." Amy was speechless for once. When Philip was around, Tammy's situation began to improve. He joined her during walks, helped plan nutritious meals, and even attended therapy sessions with her. Tammy started to feel like she was worthy of love for the first time in years. All love, Ray. However, the internet wasn't very helpful. Online critics were quick to label Philip as another feeder or a clout chaser. Tammy's page was inundated with insults and threats from trolls. She responded with a clap. "I know what I'm doing. You guys don't know Philip as well as I do." Still, skepticism surfaced. Amy was powerless to stop herself. She started looking into Philip's history. She discovered something unexpected and quite distressing. Years ago, Philip lost a sibling to an eating disorder. He has since turned into a supporter of addiction treatment and body positivity. He even worked as a volunteer at a nearby rehabilitation facility. Amy came to the realization that perhaps this person was truly unique. 3 months later, on a balmy summer evening, Philip organized a surprise picnic in Tammy's lawn. Philip got down on one knee as Gage held a ring box and fairy lights were strung up. However, Tammy declined to say yes. Rather, she accepted his hands, grinned, and remarked, "Not yet. Without hurrying, let's continue to love one another. Together, let's continue to recover." Philip gave her a forehead kiss. "That's all I ever wanted." A few nights later, Amy and Tammy sat on the porch, enjoying sweet tea while observing the firefly. Amy remarked, "You know," as she prodded her sister, "I still don't have complete faith in him. However, I can tell you're smiling now, and that's valuable." Tammy chuckled. "If he makes a mistake, you'll be the first to know, girl. But I'm content right now." Stronger, wiser, and closer than ever, the sisters anticipated what would happen next as the camera panned out. Because weight was never the only factor in the Slaton sisters' quest. Living was the constant theme. But in Dixon, Kentucky, a little town, the sun was just starting to set, giving the familiar streets of the Slaton sisters' house a golden tint. There was a flutter of anxious excitement in the air. With her hands resting restlessly on her lap and her gaze fixed on the road, Tammy sat near the window. She could hear her heart thumping hard in her chest. "He's really coming back, huh?" With a bottle in one arm and baby Glenn in the other, Amy leaned against the door frame and inquired. Tammy gave a slow nod. "Yes. Last night, Jerry texted to say he was out for 2 hours." Amy arched an eyebrow, her gaze displaying a mixture of doubt and worry. "Are you certain that this is a wise choice, sis? After everything, that is." Tammy took a while to respond. She had once been devastated by Jerry. Just when things became difficult, he vanished after months of courting and promises. However, he was now saying that he wanted to put things right and that he had changed. The last thing Tammy said was, "I need to find out for myself. I've changed since then as a person. I've gained strength. I'll know whether he's here for the proper reasons." An hour later, she was startled out of her reverie by the sound of tires crunching on grass. A truck, taller than she recalled, stepped out of Jerry's car as it pulled into the driveway. A shade darker, yet with the same tilted grin. "Tammy," he exclaimed, extending his arms. After a brief moment of hesitation, Tammy slowly left the room. Jerry appeared upset as she got closer. "Wow," he exclaimed, his eyes welling up. "You look amazing." Since their last encounter, Tammy had shed almost 200 pounds. She carried herself as though she had battled valiantly to regain her life, spoke with greater assurance, and stood straighter. She stated simply, "I've been working on myself." "A lot's changed." Jerry looked very impressed as he nodded. "I see that. Additionally, I've been working on myself. I got clean, went to rehab, and have been working steadily ever since. Before I could return to you, I simply needed to take care of myself." Amy narrowed her eyes as she watched through the screen door. Not yet, she didn't trust Jerry. The three of them had dinner later that night. Jerry brought a small plush animal for baby Glenn and flowers for Tammy. He made an effort, joked, laughed with Amy, and even pitched in to help with the dishes. However, Things became serious when Tammy and Jerry were able to spend some time together alone on the porch. Quietly, she asked him, "Why now? Why have you returned after all this time?" Jerry briefly averted his gaze when I realized how much I loved you, and I didn't want to be the next person to desert you just when you needed me most. I used to be afraid, but not anymore. If it's okay with you, I'd like to be in your life. Tammy gave him a close look as she searched for any indications of dishonesty. However, she was taken aback by what she witnessed. A man who was once broken, but maybe recovering similarly to her. "I'm not making any promises," she stated. "You can remain for the time being, but you must regain my trust." He gave a somewhat tearful smile. "I only ask that." Amy crossed her arms and stooped back inside. She cautioned him. "Don't think I won't be keeping a close eye on you." Jerry laughed. "Okay, Amy." Tammy felt hopeful as the stars came out and the sisters sat on the porch with Jerry next to them for the first time in a long time. Perhaps there was no second chance at love here. Perhaps it was a second opportunity at life. However, fans hadn't seen Amy Slaton in the public eye for months. Amy made the decision to walk back from the spotlight and the world after a difficult couple of years that were full of heartache, personal struggles, and emotional breakdowns. Amy had been quietly and diligently working on a metamorphosis that would astound everyone, but no one knew this. After Tammy uploaded a mysterious video to TikTok with the caption, "Y'all ain't ready for what Amy's been up to," the rumors began to circulate. The internet was enraged by just a single sentence. Fan speculations erupted, Reddit threads appeared, and even TLC producers alluded to a major development. Amy eventually broke the quiet with an Instagram live video titled "Reclaiming Me" on a bright Saturday afternoon. Amy's happy face was seen in close-up at the beginning of the video. Brighter eyes, smaller cheeks, and exuding confidence. She gradually moved away from the camera, exposing her entire body. In the comment section, there were gasps. Amy Slaton has shed more than half of her body weight after weighing over 400 pounds. She was now standing straight in a bright teal jumpsuit, looking more radiant than ever with her hair and cosmetics done. "Hey everyone," she started, choking back tears. "I succeeded. Not only for my children. Not only for my relatives. For myself, I did it." Amy mentioned that she hit a breaking point following the birth of her second kid. She was afraid she wouldn't live to see her boys grow up because her health had started to deteriorate once more. "I looked in the mirror one day," she added, "and the person peering back was someone I didn't even recognize. I realized then that it was either now or never." Amy made a commitment to herself with the aid of a new personal trainer, counseling, and a total change in lifestyle. She started writing her feelings rather than using food as a coping mechanism, embraced walking every morning, and adopted a healthy but sensible diet. After undergoing a significant metamorphosis of her own, Tammy became Amy's staunchest supporter. With an off-camera glance toward Tammy, Amy remarked, "She pushed me every single day. We used to make excuses for one another. We are each other's strength now." The film concluded with a unique teaser for the upcoming 1,000-pound sister season, with snippets of Amy exercising, having fun with her boys, and going to a gorgeous photo shoot in Nashville to commemorate her metamorphosis. Darlene, Amy's mother back at the family home in Kentucky, was unable to control her pride. In a confessional moment, she sobbed as she said, "I never thought I'd see this day. Amy is more resilient than I ever realized." And Amy's voice could be heard as the screen went blank. "It's not too late, despite what some people may think. You can accomplish this if I can. You are valuable." Greetings, dear viewers. Greetings from my channel. My name is Ava. I hope you're having a great day. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video.